There's something confronting about the month of August, and I talked about this in my Patreon community in a channeled message followed by a collective tarot reading. And this confrontation that I was feeling didn't feel combative. It felt like a gentle but tough push into looking at or addressing the things that we might be avoiding or ignoring. And there could be good reason for that. But I was guided to do a pick a card reading based on this theme. So if you want to first start with the channeled message and the collective reading, feel free to go check out my free Patreon content. The link is in the description. But if you're here for the pick a card reading, welcome. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into this confronting energy. And the goal is to turn towards it with compassion and understanding rather than resist it or continue to avoid it. So if you've been sensing that there's something that's been knocking on your door and you've pretended to not hear it or notice it, then this reading is going to be for you. So for anyone new here, my readings aren't for quick predictions or hearing what you had hoped to hear. I go where the inner work is, and that's not always comfortable or immediately resonant. So take your time to consider how the messages might be relevant and use your discernment to decide what to take and what to leave. Timestamps for each one of the piles is in the description, but for those who would like a close-up of the soul paths today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have Pride. For Soul Path 2, we have Gratitude. And for Soul Path 3, we have Decision. When you feel called and ready, click on the timestamp for your reading, and we'll see you over there. For those who chose Pride, number 5, welcome into your message. So there's two sides of the same coin here. I'm going to share each one of those sides, and we'll see what comes out in the cards. First side of the coin of this Pride coin is that there is a resistance to receiving help. You're too proud to receive help. You'd like to do things on your own. You would like to achieve something on your own, under your own steam, under your own time, with your own skill. So there's almost like I'm too proud, and maybe you're undermining yourself or other people in that process. Maybe not intentionally, but there's a block in receptivity here, block in receiving that help. And then on the other side of that coin, there is you're not feeling proud, where pride is almost the antidote to your low self-esteem, low confidence, feeling inferior to other people, wanting and needing to move forward and achieve and do certain things to feel empowered, but not feeling that sense of empowerment. You feel that other people can do better, or you're not good enough for something. So needing to confront having more pride or having too much pride, which could be the confrontation here. I'm not sure. But let's look. Spirit, about this pride from my collective, please. Show us more information about this confrontation. And I did see, what did I see? 4 of Cups. Nope, I thought I saw 4 of Cups. It was the 7 of Wands in reverse, the King of Pentacles, somewhat in the sideways position, and the Wheel of Fortune here. So that insecurity that I was picking up here is here. Now it could be in relation to a job, a business, your physical health, your finances, your abundance, however you see abundance, your home, your physical environment, your physical working environment. Maybe not feeling as strong as you could be, to taking action, to creating change and making change that you want to see in your life. This confrontation could be about your limited resources right now. The limited ability to take action and move forward, to confront. Because there is change here. This is really throwing me off. So I'm going to move that over here and move that here. There we go. Yeah, there is change here. And so the ways that you used to do things, or maybe even the passions and the things that you used to be motivated by, no longer motivate you in the way that it once did. It's almost making you feel a little imbalanced, a little unsure. And maybe that is having an effect on how you see yourself, how you feel. Queen of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom here. So it definitely has to do with your security, your personal security, your self-worth, what you value. Maybe your values are changing. Maybe things in the external are changing, which is getting you to confront certain values that no longer align, that you no longer feel like you want to fight for. Now, this could be, something in your physical world as well. It's like, well, I no longer want to spend my time or my money or invest in this way anymore. And that could be quite challenging in itself because it's something that you've always done. It's something that I feel is quite established, whatever it is. So to change that feels very confronting and vulnerable. And there is a certain level of insecurity and discomfort that comes along with that. What else? It's a lot. That's a lot. I'm going to put all that back. What else do we need to know about this confrontation? The Tower. And the Strength. So part of what's going to help here with this confrontation is to carry both. Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck in reverse here. To carry both the destruction and the strength. It's as if you're confronting the thing that's no longer working and the thing that you know to be true now. Something's changed. And there's a wild instinct in you. There's a response, a reaction in you that wants to keep something together here. That wants to feel a certain way. But something's no longer working because it was built on a foundation that you've outgrown, that no longer works, that was never yours to begin with. And so this requires you to lean into that confrontation, to lean into that change, to accept that things have changed, to accept that you are different, that things are different, and have so much grace and compassion for that. Because that's really going to bring you through this. It is actually creating a strength in you that you cannot see yet, this confrontation. And maybe a sense of pride that's being built in this process. Maybe you feel like a failure. Maybe you feel like you have failed someone or something. And the Strength card is pride. It is Leo at its core. It is your ability to use that higher expression, that higher self, that goes above and beyond all of the wild instincts and those impulsive reactions that make you want to react, that make you want to fight. And it's about stepping into that higher self to soften those edges a little bit, to soften the rough parts within us, the vulnerable parts, the scared parts, the wild parts, the fearful parts. as something is collapsing around us. So this feels a little bit like ego death. And your higher self is rising from those ashes. But first something needs to be removed. Something needs to fall away in order to create space for that strength and that leadership and that courage to come through. Knight of Cups in reverse. What is your heart no longer in? What do you not feel proud of yourself for, and why? Is it because you failed, or was it because your heart was never in it? This feels like a redirection. A pulling back from situations, people, places, things, environments, values that you can no longer get behind, emotionally speaking, that you can no longer carry moving forward. So bottom of the deck, there's that Queen of Cups in reverse again. So there's an emotional aspect to this, possibly an emotional withdrawal, and maybe some guilt and shame that has come along with that. I also see that there's an energetic withdrawal as well. You're no longer willing to fight for something in the way you once used to, and that feels very challenging. But there is a reason, and I think the reason is this. The reason is a lot has changed within you externally, but also this might be something that you never wanted for yourself to begin with, or an older version of yourself wanted it, but because of those internal changes, you've misaligned from it now. And you're coming to terms with that here. But don't suppress any emotions that come with this. Part of this confrontation, I feel, is going to be tapping into those tender parts of yourself, the emotional parts of yourself, those reactions, those things that you do or the way you respond when something feels threatened, when your security feels threatened, when things change and you don't want them to. I feel a lot of this is out of your control because we do have 3 out of the 7 cards here that are major arcanas. So that's, about 40% is out of your control. And the rest is up to you on how you manage this. How do you want to manage this? How do you want to feel? How are you connecting with those deeper emotions, those deeper desires, your intuition, your sensitivity, your feelings? How are you moving with those or not? How are you responding with those? And how are you caring for yourself through all of this? Because at the beginning, where there was a block to receive, there's an emotional block here or a resistance with this Queen and Knight of Cups. It's like, I don't want to move forward. I don't want to address or acknowledge certain feelings that I have. But the acknowledgement might be enough to help move you through this. To soften whatever rough edges are going on within you right now. So don't have too much pride, because we do have the Leo's pride coming up through the Strength card here. Have enough that you are proud of what you have achieved, but not so much that you are unwilling to receive help, guidance, care, and possibly a new direction moving forward. So that is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I'd love to hear how this message resonated with you, so drop me a comment if you feel called to share. And if you made it this far and want to go deeper, that's what my private community and one-on-one readings are for. The link to sign up is in the description box. Thanks for being here and doing this work with me, and I'll see you soon. For those who chose gratitude, number 1, welcome into your message. I feel like the thing that you are confronting, or what needs to be addressed, is how you see gratitude, how you see abundance, where you see abundance, and what you do have gratitude for. Gratitude really connects us to the present moment, and it's not about the future wealth that we are aiming for or desiring. It's about what is here in this moment. What are all of the things that you can count that you already have? Not about the should haves or the could be's. So it's about cultivating gratitude here. And on a more humble note, this also feels like confronting the kind of the lack mindset, the things that you feel you don't have yet, the quest for more or new. And is that necessary to feel fulfilled or satisfied or whole? And looking at what you have when you have all of those things that you are aspiring to attain. Will you have a more sense of worthiness or value? Will you have more freedom, more happiness? Or will you simply just have more? So challenging the way you're perceiving wealth and abundance and gratitude might be something to confront. Let's see, what is this confrontation about more specifically, Spirit? The Tower is making itself known today. Let's see, one more. What's this confrontation about? So with these two, I'm immediately seeing like the Six of Swords trying to avoid this tower because it's going in the opposite direction. It's trying to avoid the chaos, avoid the change, the foundational shifts needed, specifically related to the mind, the perception, the perspectives. Because often this sixes can be about progress and success. It can be about balance, creating more balance, and creating more balance within the mind. But we must have that cognitive shift in order to create that balance. And this Three of Pentacles in reverse feels like lack of productivity, lack of teamwork, not feeling like you're supported, not feeling like you're part of a team, not being able to utilize your skills towards growing something here. There's an awful stagnancy that I'm feeling with these two cards, and the only way to create growth is through a dismantling of something, but not just a dismantling, a complete disruption. A leaning into the challenge, the change, the chaos, not for chaos or drama's sake, but because it's necessary to clear the way, to clear space for new growth to happen, for the abundance. Because when our mind is filled with lack mindsets, and when we don't have room to grow something, whether that is cognitively, spiritually, energetically, physically, then nothing will grow in that space. I'm thinking of a garden. We only have a limited amount of space in a garden bed. And if you fill everything and try to grow everything equally, it's not going to happen. So something must be ripped out, torn out, pulled apart. There must be room to create space for the things that are most important. But you must be willing to let go of something here, to have a new way of seeing things, a new perspective, a new mindset shift. Okay, yes. So the Page of Swords in reverse with the Ace of Pentacles. It's going to require you to open up to something new. This, whatever you are seeking, whatever you are trying to do, is not going to happen with the same perspective, in the same ways that you've been doing something before. It requires a complete shift. It requires you to learn something different. So wherever you are struggling mentally, cognitively, within the mindset, that is where you need to confront something in the way that you're seeing something, thinking about something, perceiving something. That is where the opportunity lies. It's not about trying to do something, avoid something, with the same way that you started something with. The opportunity lies in the not knowing. And maybe that is the fear, is I don't know what some new path will bring. I don't know what this new mindset will bring. I don't know what this tower is going to bring when it's all fallen down. But it's developing a sense of trust in that process. Trust not just for the process, but trust in yourself. Trust that you will learn something new, that you will see new opportunities in this, that you will even connect with a new set of values because of this experience. You will see growth in a new way, but it requires patience and a trust in the efforts that you're putting forth, the plans, the strategies, the direction, the choices that are in alignment with your purpose and a deeper meaning here. So what else? Five of Swords in reverse. There's a lot of swords here. And the swords are telling me that there's something within the mind that needs to be shifted. Because the gratitude or the abundance that you're seeking isn't sought in the physical, it is sought within the internal. The ways in which we grow personally, the ways in which we learn to deal with our inner critic. This almost feels like a stepping back to learn something new. It's not about pushing forward or avoiding or like instantly shifting your mindset. It's about stepping back to be able to see things from a new perspective. Stepping back to, I want to say how it all started, but where the conflict was, where the inner critic started to get loud. There's something to learn there. Maybe it's about confronting an inner critic, confronting the ways in which you've avoided confrontation. Because that's the opportunity lies in the destruction of whatever that is. And by destruction, this feels more like transformation. It feels more like taking 2 steps back so you can go forward in a new direction. and to not repeat some kind of mistake or pattern or avoidance pattern in, over and over and over again. Yeah, there's something, I'm just seeing a lamb that's in the arms of this card here. This gratitude card. It's about birthing something new. And the childbirth is painful. It is a process. What else? Six of Pentacles in reverse. So we talked about the sixes being the sense of balance. There's definitely a sense of imbalance here in a situation in your life. This could be not getting what you're worth, and then having that affect how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself. Maybe having somebody say that you're not worthy and having you internalize that. So this is about correcting that. Confronting that to correct it, not to seek the validation that it's untrue, but to shift the belief within yourself first. And to stop fighting with some belief or narrative that isn't necessarily true based on an external experience. That will only continue to keep you stuck. So it's almost like taking your power back here. About really investing in yourself in some way, some personal growth, in your personal growth. And having gratitude for yourself that you're showing up for this work. Gratitude for what you're learning in this process. So the gratitude and abundance may not be in what you see, in the physical, in the validation, but in what you gain personally, spiritually, energetically, cognitively from this experience. So where are you placing your worth? Where are you placing value? And how is that affecting your mental health, your mindset? The personal narratives? How is it feeding a belief that isn't necessarily true or is maybe unhealthy? That is your confrontation, my dear soul path 2. So I'm going to leave the reading here. I'd love to know how these messages resonated, so drop me a comment if you feel called to share. And if you made it this far and would like to go deeper, that's what my private community and one-on-one readings are for. The link to sign up is in the description. Thanks for being here and doing this work with me. I'll see you soon. For those who chose decision number 2, welcome into your message. So, you could have gone through a period of time where you are at a crossroads, we're at a crossroads, are at a crossroads, and your confrontation might be about the decision or the avoidance to a decision that you are making or feel like you need to make. Now, this could be for some about taking action on that decision finally, about saying, you know what, I've thought about this long and hard for far too long. It's time to actually put that into action. But this could also be about why you're making a decision, why you feel you need to make a decision, and if you need to make a decision at all. So we'll see what comes up. I feel like this is more of the former, of taking action on a decision that you spent time thinking about. We'll see. What is this confrontation? Yeah. Knight of Wands. That's inspired decision making right there. Let's see what else. If it's something that you feel purposeful about, something that feels meaningful. There's a bit of vulnerability in this decision, though. Holy cow. And there could be some people involved here. Wow. All court cards. There could be a number of aspects of you coming forth right now, some being more dominant than others, There's a level of emotional vulnerability in this. There's also a level of judgment, discernment, maybe not knowing what the right decision is, but taking action anyway with great inspiration and passion. This could also be people too, where you are looking away from people that some may have your best interests at heart, but others may not. Now, I will say that whenever court cards come up in reverse in a lot of my in-person readings, this can be about people who have passed on or people that we are separated from. So this could have to do with a decision with either a mother-like figure, doesn't have to be female, possibly a child or a sibling, that you have been separated from or want to separate from. This could also be somebody that's passed on as well. Could be multiple people that have passed on. So there could be some impulsive decisions around this feeling of grief. And there could be something here about you confronting why you're taking action and making some decision. I feel like that's really, really strong here. Because this Knight of Wands is moving away from the reverse cards. So this is either avoidance of maybe dealing with the emotions of not being attached or connected to these people, whether in the physical world or in the spirit world. Or there's some other reason here. Or maybe ignoring I don't want to say the good judgment because I can't tell if this is good judgment or not, but kind of ignoring the things that aren't aligned with where you passionately want to go. So you have an idea, maybe other people have different ideas. Okay. So this could be a partnership. It's definitely a connection, an independence here. A decision towards more independence and to get away from something that maybe is heartbreaking. Maybe a difficult truth. And there's been some delays. There has been a challenge in regards to this. I don't feel like this is something that you can escape to feel better. So if this decision is being made because of a difficult situation, obviously there's some logical reasons, if there was a split somewhere and you have to physically move somewhere, that can't be avoided. But just be careful that you aren't avoiding the grief. Because that's what's going to lead you to feeling more secure within yourself, feeling more abundant. I feel like the situation had something to do with a difficult truth. And something that wasn't working, something that could no longer continue, and you have a sense of independence from this. And heartbreak is following with this. It's like you weren't able to, maybe you felt like there was a lot of delays. So your confrontation is the difficult truth. Your confrontation could very well be the grief. And where you're feeling guided to go next, where you're feeling inspired to go next. This feels really tough. I don't understand why it's really tough. So I think I may have already shown you that, but Queen of Pentacles in the upright. So another court card. There's a maturity here I'm feeling. It's like, but also a different direction. It feels more grounded, more rooted, wherever it is that you're going. Something that is more aligned with healing and what feels purposeful and meaningful for you. You're following your heart in some way, even though it feels really challenging and painful. So it's almost like the confrontation is about what it is you actually desire in this situation. What will make you feel aligned to your values here, aligned to your true north, aligned to your purpose, aligned to what brings you passion and meaning. And that doesn't mean to make impulsive decisions in the search to find that or in the hopes to find that. It's just sitting with what's true right now in this particular situation. And if that's something that you can get in that situation, then great. How can you achieve that? But I do feel like this is a break from something here. A break away from an aspect of yourself that was holding you back, that was keeping you small. And that might be tough. This could be moving away from people that didn't feel supportive, that felt very challenging to be around or to be supported by. And that may be hard, but it essentially aligns you to what you deem to be important, what you feel whole with. You know, there is a sense of wholeness with this 9 of Pentacles here. It was difficult, but it creates wholeness. It creates a sense of self-worth and abundance and security and comfort within self. And also aligns you to something much bigger here. So I feel this decision is both difficult and beautiful. And it is being driven by your desire to find more stability, to find more security, to find something that you can build up on and into, grow into, mature into. So this is about trusting your truth, even though it's difficult, about being really secure in what you know to be true, who you are, where you're going, what you need and desire to feel safe, secure within yourself, and acting upon that. Not waiting for permission, not waiting for somebody else to validate that it is correct, but allowing the decision or allowing your heart to lead you in the right direction, even though you might be unclear. I feel like you have a vision here, so it's about following that vision and confronting the healing that needs to happen in that process as well. So I'm going to leave it here, my dear Soul Path 3. I'd love to read how these messages resonated, so drop me a comment if you feel called to share. And if you made it this far and want to go deeper, that's what my private community and one-on-one readings are for. The link to sign up is in the description. Thank you for being here and doing this work with me. I'll see you soon.